One Piece chapter 1119, it is titled Emmet. In the last chapter, we saw that Bonney, she turned into Gear 5th using her distorted future, and the Straw Hats that are with the Giants are planning on fighting Mars so that they can escape. And in this chapter, we got the name reveal of the Iron Giant, which is kind of hard to, I guess, not say or don't spoil until the part was revealed because what's in the damn title. I will say I do think it's a little bit interesting that comparing this chapter's cliffhangers to others, I don't want to say that it's weak or anything, but I feel like there's been other cliffhangers during this arc where I've been like, oh my gosh, where's the next chapter? And this one was kind of just like, okay, it is what it is. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I certainly did. But if you guys enjoy regular breakdowns like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that, my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's get into chapter 1119's breakdown. Kaku, he orders Stussy to leave after everything they've been through, being a part of CP0 and Stussy betraying them. Kaku, he's obviously hurt, and Stussy, she still sees Kaku as a friend. However, he only sees her as a colleague, and he says that if Lucci came back, there would be nothing that he could do in order to stop him, which is true because, well, we know the type of guy that Rob Lucci is, and I will say, seeing Kaku like this makes me wonder if Kaku's going to get a line, something along the lines of, I see how it felt Iceberg, because this is kind of similar to what happened to him in Water 7. Kaku, Lucci, and the others, they had been working for Iceberg for such a long time, and then they just up and betrayed him, which tore Iceberg apart since he trusted these individuals. So I think seeing this scene, seeing it from Kaku, you know, him experiencing it, was a nice touch by Oda. We got another panel that included Luffy and Bonney in their Gear 5th form, and it's different from the last panel because this one, instead of Bonney being the bigger of the two, Luffy, he is bigger than Bonney, and I don't know why. I just like this panel a little bit more. Maybe it's because Luffy, he's bigger and it makes him look like the bigger brother in this one, which has kind of been the direction of their relationship during this entire arc. Luffy powers up into a big ball in order to protect the ship from Mars's attack, and he asks Franky, Sanji, and Bonney to hurl him towards Mars at full force in order to send him flying, which I like because it feels like it's been a while since we've seen Luffy send one of his opponents flying. Off the top of my head, I can think of Buggy and Cracker, and then technically when he's defeated some of his opponents after punching them, they've been sent flying, but it wasn't in the same way as I mentioned earlier with Buggy and Cracker. There was a panel of Luffy holding Mars, and it looked pretty darn insane, which is crazy to me because in this panel, Luffy looks more like the monster or the devil than Mars, and I'll talk about the devil point that I just mentioned a little bit later in the video. But in this team up attack, it consists of Sanji's Hell Memories using Ifrit Janbei, Franky's strong impact right, and Bonney's supersized Nika punch. Luffy mentions that the attack, it hurts because they're using Haki, and Bonney, well, she's always been a confirmed Haki user. But at the same time, I don't necessarily know how I feel about this because on one hand, Bonney, she's a captain of her own crew and she's going on different types of adventures that we don't know the difficulty of them. But on the other hand, she's 12 years old, and if she can use Haki, then why the fluff can other Straw Hats not? This is similar to another complaint that I had when I saw random Marines using armament Haki in Dressrosa. So I don't really know why she's the only one that can use it. I've seen some people in the community mention that Luffy, he was also talking about Franky here. However, I disagree because, well, Franky hasn't showcased anything that he can use Haki before, so why can't he use it now? Also, Sanji using Hell Memories here has gotten a little bit of backlash as well. Now, in my opinion, there's not really many times that a character, they've displayed a definitive strongest attack in the series. Sanji's finished off a lot of enemies, and most of the time it was with a different attack. We've seen Conk a sword, we've seen anti-matter kick course, just to name a few. Now I will say Hell Memories, it is one of Sanji's strongest attacks, and it's one that we don't really see that much of. So people have been upset that Sanji used Hell Memories on top of Ifrit Janbei just for this, compared to Zoro when he went against Nostro when they had that clash. It didn't take such an extreme attack, plus they've been fighting for 3 weeks now. Personally, I think some people are nitpicking a little bit, but I guess you could also say it's valid. But this part of the chapter, it ends with Luffy after the combined attack sending Mars flying. Unless she's going to check up on Usopp and his group because they're late and they can't leave without them. She also mentioned that York is monitoring her and Lilith, and personally I think that she's leaving to go check on them in order to stop York. I think that all these Stellas are going to end up being destroyed, and with the ones on the Allied side at least being only Atlas and Lilith, I think they're either going to be killed or sacrifice themselves to stop York and allow the Straw Hats to escape. The broadcast, it is back on, and apparently the elders, they just broke the mental waves and they need to separate these circuits in order to stop the broadcast. I also want to mention that Katakuri, he was here and we only saw him briefly, but anytime that Katakuri he's on the screen, we gotta talk about him because he's one of the best characters in the series, and he has my favorite design of all the characters in the series. I do want to mention that Vegapunk, he talked about inherited will, which is important because it's kind of a big part of what One Piece is. We've seen different characters inherit someone's will. Luffy and Sabo, they inherited Aces, Zoro inherited Kuina, etc. And I wonder if this part of the chapter is implying that Luffy accidentally or without him knowing inherited Joy Boy's will. CP agents, Seraphim, and some debris, they're falling out of the sky, and this is Jupeter's doing. He is attempting to sink the ship, and when he's done, he starts sucking in air so that the ship won't be able to escape. We also see Warcury jump towards the ship, which sparks some interesting comments because, well, he jumped into a ship that's already in the sea, meaning that, well, unless Warcury can fly, he's definitely going to fall into the ocean, and we know what happens to Devil Fruit users who go into the ocean. They lose their ability to swim. So more and more people have been speculating, and this has already been a common discussion, but that the Gorosei, they are devils and not Devil Fruit eaters. Honestly, I have no clue, but like KG says, anything's possible! The chapter, it ends with Emmet. He is spinning the block on Warcury. It was either the last chapter or the chapter before that, but Emmet, he kind of went out sad because Warcury, he sent his ass flying. But in this one, Emmet, he emerged from the sea and he punched the mess out of Warcury, breaking part of his tusk. The previous Joy Boy also talked in this chapter saying, remember only when the time is right. And I don't know what he's talking about here. Maybe it correlates with the Noah or the reason why Zanisha is walking, but we'll have to see. By the way, I also wanted to mention this. Some of you guys might already have known this, but in Hebrew, Emmet, it means truthful or fidelity. Him being an ally of Joy Boy could be the reason why right now he is currently protecting Luffy and the other Straw Hats. But that's it for this chapter. I thought it was a decent one. There actually wasn't that much that entirely happened. I believe it was only a 12 or 13 page panel. Hopefully everything's alright with Oda because he is going on break this week, which it sucks, but hey, he always deserves his breaks. But let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.